What is your Nsfw secret that you are proud of? I was on a date with a girl probably out of my league. We eventually made it to a park and strolled onto a small bridge. There was a rushing stream below us, and it was nighttime, so no one was there next to us. Hearing all the water below really made me have to pee. Like, really bad. So as both of us were leaning over the rail watching the stream, I quietly unzip and whip out my willy. I pee down a support to minimize the splashing. The relief I felt was orgasmic. 8/10 would do again. I put a miniature top hat on my erect penis and snapped a photo with the disposable camera that my platoon sergeant left in the Humvee. Got together with a girl who was also in second year at university with me. It was pretty carnal. We were really attracted to one another and hooked up often and aggressively. It was hot. Anyway, one of the first few times we got together she invited me over. I went into her room and she had a red satin sheet thrown over her lampshade casting a red hue to the room. She had high thread count Egyptian cotton sheets and tons of pillows on her bed. She also had, beside the bed, a bowl of mixed fruit. We made ps and afterwards I lay back in the afterglow of the sex onto a mountain of pillows with her draped, naked, across me laying on my chest amidst expensive cotton sheets, and she began to feed me fruit from the fruit bowl. Like actually holding cherries up for me to bite off the stem. I felt like a sultan. It was amazing. I fingered two of my sister's best friends at the same time in a field, akimbo style. I wrote erotica and dirty fanfic in high school for money. It helped me grow as a writer and paid for my needs. I charge based on length and content. Base charges: 5 to 10 pages, 8, 11 to 15, 10, 16, 13. Content charges: vanilla, free, BDSM, 2, furry, 3. I'm on A-list now, 5. Hilariously enough, I was voted most likely to write a bestseller in the yearbook. The teachers were confused as to why my class laughed so hard when I was given the certificate. Edit. Formatting. My wife and I put a penny in a bank every time we have sex. I know the exact number of times I've had sex in my life because I've only ever had sex with my wife. I have a wheat penny tattoo on my right leg that I got on our anniversary, I think 6th year. We also know how many times it took to conceive our 2 kids because we use nickels for one and dimes for the other. We count pennies every anniversary and write down totals and average for the year. Some people know this story, including friends at work, but it's not something I'd say is 100% safe for work. I had a threesome where all parties involved were actually attracted to one another. In high school, me and my best friend challenged a girl to a competition on who could come the most in one day using an honor system. I lost at 7 times, Buddy got to 11, and she beat us both at 26. To this day I regret not stating in the rules no vibrators allowed. The first time I came home on leave from the army, I hadn't seen my wife in 7 months. We stayed at my parents' house. She had moved in with her mother in that time to save money. My parents went out the first night we were there to see a movie without us, in a kind of wink wink nod nod situation. I had been in an incredibly stressful environment for 7 months without seeing my wife. I was also now highly physically fit. I pissed that girl so hard I broke my cherry wood bed frame and the bed collapsed underneath us. I was pretty busy that week and forgot to fix it before I left for Germany. The first phone call to my dad, he said, "Oh yeah, laughing, I fixed your bed frame for you. I don't know what you did to that poor girl, but I hope she's alright," more laughing. Had a foursome with 3 other women during a girls' weekend at a cabin in the mountains. MDMA was involved. The other night this guy I'm seeing and I had such great sex that after we climaxed at the end we literally fell asleep right away. I woke up an hour later literally still on top of him. I thought that was just something that happened in romance novels. I once farted as I got on a packed train in London. I knew it was a killer but played it cool. The doors close behind me and 10 seconds later a girl sitting next to her boyfriend hits him and shouts, "You're disgusting." 5 years 3 months clean from heroin today. I once had to call into court as a witness for an altercation that happened at my work. I was placed under oath over the phone. My girlfriend at the time blew me the entire time. I was the male star of Upshoot on an amateur website based in Ocean City, MD, during the late 90s. Edit. Website was known as, although the owner, named Babby, passed away a few years later. and the domain registration expired. I learned about the studio from a worker in a t-shirt shop on the boardwalk. It was located in West Ocean City, in an industrial park, next to construction businesses, if I remember correctly. Very discreet, but a full professional studio with casting couches, beds, etc. But I later learned that it was a widely known and respected site to view paid amateurs. The pay rate was 100/hours. Edit 2. Seems like Babby is still alive, but her husband was the owner, and he apparently took his own life. RIP to him, and my inbox. Sorry for my bad English, it's my second language. Not sure if this fits here. Not proud of the moment, but I'm proud of the result. Me and my wife had kids, and decided that was enough children. We got married after the kids were born, and went on a honeymoon. We got drunk and had sex, without protection. The next day we panicked a bit, and went to a drug shop and got a regret bill. My wife took it at the hotel room. Crisis cancelled. After this we thought nothing about it, and continued with the honeymoon. Like half an hour late she gave me ups. She never ever gives me PSSDS as she chokes easily, so this was a real treat for me. When I came hard, and the cum shot landed at the back of her mouth, and she puked all over the floor and mites. We laughed it off, and joked about it for the rest of the vacation. A few weeks after, when we came home, she did not get her period. We got anxious, and it turned out she was pregnant. The only time we had sex without protection was at that hotel room. When she puked after the ps, she must have puked out the pill as well. So, now we have 3 kids. The youngest is as amazing as the other 2, and I'm proud to have him. But he must never ever find out how he was conceived. Got a hand job from my GF while her parents were driving us back from Disney World. Was offered sex by a sales rep who looked like thin Jessica Simpson and turned her down because I had recently started dating the woman who would be my wife. Kissed me in front of the whole bar, bit my slip, and when I pulled her out of there to talk her down, she grabbed my junk and told me where she'd like to put it. Stayed true to my girl, married her, and we are celebrating our 6th anniversary this year. What is your Nsfw secret? Woohoo, my time to contribute has come. That you are proud of. I guess I'll just read the comments this time. I can ps a girl while wholly supporting her with my arms. I used to be overweight and pretty weak, so I'm pretty proud of this and have no one to tell I rule without coming off like a douche. I'm a hip disarticulate amputee on my left side, meaning they took the entire leg. I just have a fleshy lump there, right up next to my crotch. This means I get to say my ps is longer than my left leg as a factual statement. There are very few good things about being an amputee, so I take what I can get. Edit. I've never experienced this level of upvoting and positive commenting. You guys have cheered me up when I wasn't in the best of moods. I finally found out what positive karma is good for on this site. A smile and shared laughter. Thanks for being a positive part of my day. I'll pay it forward whenever possible. D. Edit 2. Here's a picture of my hardware so folks understand what hip disarticulate means. Here's a pic when I was nearly dead. I'm not conscious, and I'm that big because the infection that was killing me inflamed my entire body. Here's me now. I do have some of my right leg still. I also have an artificial hip as you saw in the x-ray. The artificial hip will help me with the prosthetics I'm getting fitted for. I'm really good at unhooking bras with one hand, although weirdly it has to be with my non-dominant hand. My bed is broken from having sex. It was already a little broken before from something else, but recently, in the middle of fun time, my bed caved in. It was hilarious, but at the same time it scared the ps out of me. Something else. Friend jumped on my bed and some pieces of support wood under the mattress broke. Then little by little my bed got little more messed up till one night, it caved in. I broke a sink in a bar bathroom while having sex with my now wife back when we were in college. I rode a bike for a 40-mile journey on LSD in Tokyo during the height of cherry blossom season. This sounds magical. What's more magical is that he was able to find LSD in Japan. I feel like LSD must be the easiest drug to bring on a plane though. I'll let you know the next time I travel to Japan. It sure is. It sure is. Tripped balls at a castle in Wales once. That was cool. I'm currently in a friends with benefits situation with one of my senior manager. It started with a drunken night out and now weeps pretty much every day. It's quite awkward in the office because she is my boss's boss, and during our business review meetings my face goes red when she asks me something. I'm in a similar situation, but it turned into a serious relationship and now live together. She's a senior manager, and I was her direct report. It was fun sneaking around, but now the CEO knows and moved me under someone else. It's great though, cause now we can focus on what has turned into a real relationship and be open about it. Edit. For anyone saying they are just looking out for the company. Yeah, they are doing that as well. But through this move I've actually been given an additional program to oversee and a raise from the CEO himself. Dude is the real deal and cares about his employees and the organization. Moved me under someone else. Oh my. And you were directly under her the entire time. Mr. Scott, that's what she said. askreddits like this always makes me wonder if I just have an exceedingly boring life or if people are just phenomenal liars. You also have to remember that the 50 people who have real kinky stories are an incredibly small portion of the population. Once, I hung a poster by standing on a Raleigh chair. He said Nsfw, not Nsfl. I once shagged a girl who worked in post delivery. While I was signing the delivery she said something in my house smelled nice. I had just made coffee and wanted to offer her a cup. So I said, I know, you wanna come in? Which she did. She grabbed my crotch within 10 seconds and then my brain went psit. Let's do this I guess. She didn't get to drinking any coffee though. This sounds like an actual ps opening. 9 months later the only thing she delivered was a baby. When I was in college, I lived in a dorm that had a pool table room. One night, I was drunk with my then boyfriend, and we stumbled in there at around 3 AM to have sex. We ended up stripping down totally, not really caring about our nudity since the dorm was dead that night. While we were doing the deed, we ended up on the ground on the non-door facing side of the table, and almost immediately, someone opens the door and turns the light on. X and I freeze. I turn my head to look under the table and see their feet freeze as they see our clothes scattered everywhere. Not a noise was made. No one moved. Complete awkwardness for what felt like forever after about 7 seconds. The other guy just turned the light off and backed out, and we never got caught. Edit. Okay, we got caught obviously, but I more meant that they never found out who we were. Trust me, we would have heard it from someone in the dorm. He just really wanted to play pool. Someone else was sinking a 6 in the pocket. I fingered my GF while we were in a bus. The bus was quite full, and she was the one who dared me to try something naughty, and she almost got us caught too. Maybe somebody noticed, but didn't want to bother. Crap, they'll think I'm watching. I better jack off too, so they know I'm not being creepy. Edit. Alright, y'all. Loving all these hyper original Louis the 100th. K. jokes everyone is using. I was totally referencing him, you caught me. I use this opportunity to make a joke about a comedian's sexual assault allegations. You totally saw through my completely obvious and transparent ruse, and found the hidden secret joke only humorists could find. How else was I going to make this joke, to continue off of someone else's post with my own humor? No sir. So now we know who the grandmaster comedy writers are, and we can stop. Thank you for participating. I really like the narrative of a homeless man that's totally sane catching a couple being dirty and doesn't want them to get caught and embarrassed, so he starts very aggressively masturbating to try to ease the tension. My GF put a grapefruit on my wang once. I have to delete this before she sees it. Like a bobcat being waterboarded. Like a plunger violently oscillating in a toilet filled with jello and macaroni and cheese. On our honeymoon, my wife gave me a ps while I was standing at the window to our hotel room, looking out over Niagara Falls Canadian side. To this day, I'm proud to say that I've received a BJ while looking down on one of the natural wonders of the world. Edit. For those suggesting that I add the remaining natural wonders to my bucket list, I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. A bout with cancer and complications from a 22-hour surgery to remove the tumor has resulted in some plumbing problems, among which are inability to get an erection. So, while I have some very nice memories of S about it, there won't be any new ones anytime soon. And Niagara Falls. This guy's smooth. I've been part of a threesome, so that's neat. I've been part of an Eiffel Tower. I masturbated and finished 7 times in a day once. Ips my then girlfriend now wife on the conference room table of an old job one night. Boss held a training class in there the next day. Edit. I'm so very thankful that, to my knowledge, none of my family or friends are on Reddit. My wife would be horrified to know thousands of people had seen this post. My butt plug collection. I've got 25 unique plugs. I once went bowling with 2 other couples in my own GF. So 3 guys, 3 girls including me and my GF at the time. I had slept with all 3 girls there. I write pretty raunchy lit erotica. Link to my stories. I've had a few people asking. Picked up a hooker at a bar, didn't pay, didn't get robbed. Same story again with another one, except she didn't want to use a condom, so I for the first time said no to sex. Leaderful guild Naxxramas progress rate over Ventrello, while my ex blows me. Didn't come, was too dedicated to the raid. IP sitting down. My ex kisses the guy she left me for with the same tongue she used to stick up my ass. It's a secret pride that makes me happy. Suck my own ps. When I was in college, I worked at a vet clinic. I'd go in on weekends to take care of the boarders and I'd generally go in myself. My girlfriend would join from time to time to play with the puppies. Weeps on my boss desk, in the hallway, and on the surgery table which I tied her to. We're married now. I've had sex with a few ps. A couple of them do escorting at a relatively acceptable price and a few years ago I decided to indulge. I don't know how to describe it. Best experience in my entire life. They literally made me discover a new level of pleasure in sex. I'm a pretty vanilla guy, didn't do anything out of the ordinary with them, but holy crap, this is something I obviously won't talk about in public, but it rocked my life in so many ways. An incredible experience for sure. Had the best sex to date when a friend of mine said he'd give me a ride home after a long day of work. The car ride was long, but immensely fun, because of our playful bantering. We swapped sex stories and I could count on having a great conversation with him, because of our common interests. He came inside my small apartment, and one thing led to another. Basically, we went a few rounds, tried many positions that had me bending in awkward angles, but felt really good, and we eventually moved my mattress so much that it flipped on us. Oh, and during his more affagos, we broke my curtain rod. He also enjoyed my impromptu twerking during doggy, which I had never done before, but felt so damn good, so planned to do again. Also learned that I could squirt that day. All in all, it was an amazing night. Summer 1998, I had 2 FWB girlfriends who knew about each other and didn't care. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get them both in bed at the same time. Best summer of my life. It's good to have a rep for keeping your mouth shut in a tourist town. I was in a poly relationship for a year and a half. Myself, my girlfriend, and her girlfriend / our roommate. The only sex I had for a year and a half was threesomes, but there was one time I'm particularly proud of. The 3 of us took a summer camping trip to my favorite spot in the Catskills. There's a hike up a stream, through the mountains that ends at a waterfall with a big swimming hole. I have a bit of a thing for outdoors, and the ladies were feeling it too, so we found a big flat rock and went to town. Totally naked, out in the open, the roar of the waterfall mixing with our moans of pleasure. And then we went swimming. It was pretty excellent. I used to have bulimia, and after years of self-induced vomiting, have no gag reflex whatsoever. Seriously, when I get with a guy and he finds that out, the reaction is priceless. Got my ps sucked dry by a girl within 10 minutes of meeting her. I don't know how I did it, but I've only told one friend. Would like to tell more people / friends, but IDK if they'd believe something so random. Edit. Lol, I didn't even get her name or number. This happened recently, and I'm still kicking myself for it. Mayo. Cashier, that will be 13.87. How would you like to pay? U/MGLL, and I got my ps sucked by a girl within 10 minutes of meeting her. Cashier, IDK if I believe that. It's way too random. I once made my college girlfriend scream so much and so loud during an orgasm that her downstairs neighbor, a kind, elderly woman, came upstairs, rapped on the door, and insisted that if she didn't hear my GF's voice immediately, she was gonna call the cops. We both lay in bed, laughing as my GF reassured her that she was quite well. Thank you. After that, she tended to cram a pillow or stuffed animal in her mouth to muffle the sound effects. Lol. Downstairs neighbor also works as a euphemism for vagina. Her vagina literally came up and asked if she was okay. I hate it when my south mouth talks back. I had sex with identical twins, sadly not together. Started talking to twin one on an anonymous social media app. We got to sexting. She was sending me a lot of explicit pics and vids. But after a few weeks it sort of fizzled out before meeting. Fast forward a month or so, and I bumped into what I thought was the same girl on the app, and I almost ruined it by saying what I thought was her name. Turned out it was twin 2. We got talking, and the same thing happened. She was completely unaware I'd be talking to her sister. Twin 2 and I met soon after, and a few times. Funny, at one point she was talking about twin 1 and how they're so different because twin 1 would never be this dirty with guys. God, it was so hard biting my tongue from saying actually she sent me pics of her ps. Anyways, twin 2 and I after a few weeks sort of cooled off. She met someone and they started a proper relationship. Twin 1 pops up again on social media. We begin talking again, and this time we met and also ps a few times. Not the most exciting experiences in the world, but it was at least pretty unique. Sexually Nsfw. My girlfriend woke me up early for some before dawn sex and I finished as her alarm went off to go to work. The alarm was the intro song to The Lion King. Mix that with a really good session, and it was a primal religious experience for me. Violent Nsfw. I successfully one-hit KO a man twice my size after a heated discussion on why he should spend money on his part of the rent, and not on drugs and alcohol. There was a lot of adrenaline involved for sure. I moved to Orlando recently. I'm a 19 male, and in the 3 months I've been here I slept with a beautiful 31-year-old, a 20/80 19 or 18 26-year. Proud of myself, because back home I had no game. TLDR, moved to Orlando, get laid. Bro, it's Orlando. Try not to get laid. That's the real challenge. Our first ps was in one of the bathrooms of that Irish restaurant in Universal. Cheers, man. I once ate out my cousin's girlfriend and made her come multiple times. It was my first time doing that. He doesn't go down on her often, so it was a relatively new experience for her. Edit. Phrasing.